Check out what I have right here, friends. The new Dior Rouge Color and Glow Duos. I have the Contour and Glow and one of the Blush and Glows. This is going to be my full review of these two today. I'm going to be doing swatches, applying these to my face, and of course giving you guys my completely honest thoughts on whether or not this formula is any good and whether or not these are worth the hefty Dior price tag. So if you want to hang out with me today and play around with these new duos from Dior, then keep watching. Okay, are you ready? These are the two duos that I was able to pick up. I will show you guys some daylight close-ups and some swatches of each of these duos. The first one that I have right here is the Contour and Glow. So this is going to have a cool tone contour shade and then also a golden highlighter. This one in particular is called number 200 Diorama, and then the other one that I have right here is the Blush and Glow. This one is 287 Dioramour, and this is the one that has the beautiful light baby pink blush and then that intriguing lilac highlighter. I know a lot of you guys are really interested in this color. Now these are made in Italy. They have a 12-month shelf life. They do have a pretty strong fragrance that we get from a lot of the Dior makeup. You get 8 grams of product and they also are talc free. I will also mention, friends, it kind of looks like these are more of a baked formula, so this is going to be a little bit different from the blushes that are in the main line. I'll do my best to kind of compare and contrast them as we get through this review, but I just wanted to point that out. It kind of looks, from what I'm seeing in the pan, that this is more of a baked formula, which is something that we typically see is produced in Italy, as it says on the package. It does not say on either of the boxes that these are limited edition, so I'm guessing that these are permanent. Maybe if they do well, they will be permanent. And the last thing that I wanted to point out, friends, before we get into the demo, is that the packaging is pretty much the same as like everything else we see from Dior. There's nothing like special or seasonal or limited edition about it. You also do not get a brush. It's just the two duos together, which for me, I don't really care. I have my own brushes that I'm going to use, but it's something that I like to mention. And by the way, if you happen to be enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Sophia and welcome to my channel that is all about having fun with luxury beauty. I upload new videos just like this one every single week. So if you love luxury beauty, talking about luxury beauty, or maybe you're just trying to get into it, trying to figure out what is good and what to buy, then you're in the right place, my friend. Hit that subscribe button to join our fam because we seriously would love to have you. And as a reminder, friends, I will have a shopping guide on where you can pick up these new duos from Dior. It's all going to be linked in the description box down below, along with all the makeup that is on my face today. If you enjoy this review, if you find it helpful, a good way to support my channel is to shop through those affiliate links. Thank you so, so much. And with that, let's get back to the rest of this review. And now what you've been waiting for, let's get these duos on my face. I'm going to start things off with the contour shade in the Contour and Glow. And I'm going to be using, at least to start, this kind of like softer and more fluffy brush from Surat. And then we'll kind of move into something a little bit more dense just so you can see the application. You can probably already tell from the swatches that I showed you and just the color in the pan that this is more of a cool tone. So I personally wouldn't use it as like a bronzer. It is more of a contour shade, which sometimes can be a little bit hard to find. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes they come across too gray or too warm. But this contour shade I actually quite like. And because this is a baked formula, it is going to be a little bit sheer of an application. That's why I just want to show you to start what it looks like if you use this kind of softer brush. You can get a really natural, very sort of sheer chisel, but be warned, it's not going to be a bronzer, okay? It's going to be pretty cool toned, and I actually quite like it. So you can kind of tell the subtle difference between this side and this side. I will admit I tend to use a more dense brush with this product just because it is a baked product. It can be a little bit harder to pick up, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of times with these baked products, you get something that's really like smooth and airbrushed and diffused. So I'm going to be going in next with this brush from Isam. This is the P55, and I'm going to do this on the other cheek. I can already tell that I'm picking up so much more product. It's actually kind of like coming up in the pan just a tiny bit. And I'm going to use this to kind of see how much more, see how much more I picked up. So I deposit it and then I just blend it out. And I did pick up quite a bit because I want to show you guys the color. But see, it just gives kind of like a nice little shape to the skin. Let's put some up here. And again, you got to blend it out, obviously. But if you want it to be more noticeable, go in with a brush like this. I'm also going to apply that contour shade to the eyes just to kind of gently, softly contour the crease here. This would be a great palette if you wanted to kind of use it as like eyeshadow as well, because you could just use the contour shade in the crease and then you can pop this golden shade in the center. And don't worry, we are going to be dipping into the highlighters in just a second, but I just want to show you guys first what that contour shade looks like. I think it's really pretty. I think it's quite flattering. I like the way that it looks on my skin tone, and I also think if you are a deeper skin tone than me, you can definitely build it up. Next, I'm going to go into the pink blush in the Dioramour Blush Glow palette. This is a really beautiful, subtle baby pink, probably going to be best for more fair skin tones. I don't know if this shade will pop if you are more like medium to deep, but there are other shades in the line that are a little bit more vibrant. You guys can see it has like a nice kind of glowiness to it, which is what we see a lot from these kinds of like more luminous baked formulas. Kind of see right there, but it is very subtle. Okay, like if I want to pick up more, I just have to dig my brush in a little bit. This is goat and squirrel hair mixed, so it does have a decent amount of grip to it, and if I just press into the pan a little bit more, you can see I get a really pretty soft application right there. The only thing that I had on my face beforehand, friends, is just foundation, concealer, and a little bit of the Dior Forever bronzer, just kind of like a very light natural bronzer. So I had that on top, and I definitely think that the blush has good pigmentation. Kind of see right there. So let's even this out. Comment down below, let me know what you think of this shade. Seems like a nice, subtle, everyday shade if you're somebody who really likes pinks. And I think I'm actually gonna take this up onto the temples as well, just to kind of like balance everything out. And here is the application with the contour and with the Dioramour blush. And if you are new here, I just wanted to take a quick second to mention that I do film in natural light. So I try and get the experience to be as similar to real life as possible. And I think in the natural light there, you can see that the blush does have a really nice, lovely, sweet glow that I very much appreciate. And now let's go into the highlighters. I'm going to apply them to my cheekbones and also to my eyes. I'm gonna start off, I think, with the lilac one in the Dioramour. And I'll show you guys here. I'm just using this little old brush from Wayne Goss. I can actually pick up a decent amount. I recommend just tapping off your brush a little bit. This right here is the lavender one. Now, my experience with the highlighters has been a little bit different than with the blush and with the contour. I definitely think going in with a more kind of fluffy but small brush like this works the best. I find these sometimes a little bit difficult to blend, and they also are not the smoothest highlighters in the world. You might notice it a little bit more in a second when I go in with the gold one, but they are a bit glittery, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but they're not going to be as smooth as some other ones in my collection, and I'm going to show you a comparison in just a second. But I really do love the color of this highlighter. Like, look how beautiful it looks with the blush. So I really feel like they nailed the colors, but I must say, it's not quite as smooth as I want it to be, but I'm showing you here in natural light so you can kind of decide for yourself. Now let's go into the gold highlighter that's in the Contour and Glow. This one is a little bit on the deep side for me, but you guys know I don't mind kind of like a bronzy, glowy, golden type of a look. All right, you see that? I feel like you can see it really good right there. It's a little dark. It's a little bit dark for me, but I'm going to blend it out, and it's pretty strong. It's stronger than I thought it would be, especially being a baked formula. But can you see there how, I don't know, I'm just a little bit nervous that it might highlight texture. If that's a concern for you, I'm not sure that the highlighters are the best. I gotta be honest with you guys. I don't know if they are the best, and I really feel like I have to kind of buff them out. Let me just grab another little like fluffy brush here so I can buff it out. Like, I think that it looks pretty good. I really like the tones, but it is a pretty poppy highlighter, and it does have a bit of sparkle to it. Let's put this one on the eyes as well, because I feel like sometimes it's even easier to spot when I get it on the eyelids. Woo! It actually looks really, really good on the eyes. I sort of like this a bit more as an eyeshadow. Does that make sense? So this might be more of like a contour and easy eyeshadow look for me, because I do find the highlighters to be just a little bit too glittery. Let's get some of that in the inner corner there. It looks so good on the eyes. It's very shimmery. It pops a lot. I like the fact that it's noticeable, like it's not nothing, but I am a little bit concerned about these showing texture for some of my subscribers who have that as a concern. Get this underneath here. Actually, I'm gonna dip back into the contour shade just a little bit and kind of put that there on the outer corner. Let me put on some mascara and I will be right back to show you the final look. And here is the final look. Comment down below and let me know what you think. Once again, on this side of my face, I have the lilac highlighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter, a little bit fresher, and really brings out the pink blush. And then right here, we have the golden highlighter, and I almost feel like the golden highlighter brings out the bronzy tones of the contour and the Dior bronzer that I'm wearing. So this is giving me more of like a summery look, at least I think. And then here is a close-up of the highlighter and the contour on the eyes, which I think is a really beautiful, simple kind of minimalist look, especially for the summertime or daytime going to work, etc. All right, friends, now it is time for my final thoughts. I'm gonna let you know what I think about these new duos from Dior, and then I also have a couple of formula comparisons to show you guys. Overall, I actually do like these, even though the highlighter formula isn't as effortless as I would want it to be, and yes, it does have a little bit more sparkle than I probably would prefer. I still really like the way that it looks on my face. Like every time I use these, I really enjoy the way that they look, and they also have really good longevity, which is always a good thing as well. I particularly like the contour shade. I think if I were to buy any of the palettes, I would probably buy this one, because I do already have a lot of blushes from a lot of luxury brands, but I don't have really many contour shades at all that I like to use. Powder contours, that is. I have cream contours that I use, but not a lot of powder contours. And I also do like this golden highlighter. Again, this is just my personal preference. A lot of you guys know I love that kind of warm, bronzy, glowy type of look. And I also think that this duo looks really nice on the eyes. So this one is my favorite, but I do also really like the blush formula from the other palette as well. I think that the pink is super sweet. It's very beautiful. I think that this blush formula, and we'll do a comparison in just a second, I think it's a little bit sheerer, more of like that kind of slight glowy airbrush type of look that you get from baked products compared to the regular Dior blushes that come in the singles. I think it's a little bit just glowier and fresher. I like this formula better, I think, than the other Dior blushes. I have some that I really, really like, but you guys know Dior reformulated everything about a year ago, and I don't think the blushes are as good as they used to be. So this is promising to me. So overall, friends, I do like these. I just think that the two things that you need to know are, number one, when it comes to the blush or contour formula, it is a baked formula, and if you want more pigmentation, I recommend using a denser brush. And then the second thing is with the highlighter formula, alternatively, this really packs a punch. So I think it is best to go in with kind of a soft, more precise brush. Don't get too much on the face, and then you can always like buff it out if you want it to be more diffused like this. And it does have a little bit of sparkle to it. Those are the two things that I think you need to know. Everybody has their own personal preferences. And now real quick, I am going to show you guys a couple of comparisons, starting off with the highlighter formula. So I want to pick up some of the gold right here. I'm just gonna do a little swatch right there. So, you know, it does look pretty smooth, but I think when you get really close up, you do tend to see a little bit more of that sparkle. And for comparison, I wanna show you guys a Chanel illuminator. This is from holiday 2 years ago, but it's like that beautiful, smooth Chanel formula. This one is Couvre Doré, and I thought that this would be somewhat similar of a color. Can you see how the Dior one, it reflects the light a little bit more? That's because it has more of those sparkly pigments. The Chanel one is a little bit more smooth. I just love the formula of these illuminators from Chanel. A lot of the more recent ones have been glittery and I'm like, what are you doing, Chanel? And then kind of as like an in-between, I have here the Dior Forever Couture Luminizer. I really hope that they're not trying to replace these because these are so good. And by the way, this is 01 Nude Glow. So this is the other golden one. It's gonna be lighter. This is probably a little bit more appropriate, some would say, for my skin tone. And I know it's a little bit hard to tell on camera, but I would say this is kind of like an in-between for those. And then the last one that I have right here is the Dior Backstage palette, and I'm going to swatch the golden shade in here, which is broken. So I'm not gonna lift it up, but there you go. It's this one right here. And this is also a baked formula. Let's do it right there. So pretty. I would say, yeah, it's like a little bit smoother. It's a little bit smoother. But this one also is pretty pigmented and it's a little bit lighter, so it pops a bit more. But that's just a quick comparison for you guys. It's not too far off from the other Dior highlighters, but it's not quite as smooth as the delicious Chanel Luminizer. And then here is that pink blush from the Dioramour palette. Just did the swatch right there. It's very subtle, okay, but you can see it there. See how it has that beautiful subtle glow? And I pulled out a satin formula from the Dior main line. This was a limited edition color. This is Delicate Rose. This was from one of the spring collections last year, and I thought we would do a little swatch of this one. I don't have like an exact dupe, but see, these blushes they're so dry and like hard to swatch. Do you see how I'm having trouble swatching it? They're just very dry and powdery, whereas these from the new blush duos, they are, I think, silkier, glowier, a little bit, I hate to say this, but like less patchy. These, once you get them on, they do last really long. So like I was saying, friends, I think I like the Dior Forever highlighter singles, the luminizer singles, a little bit better than the highlighters in these duos, but I like the blushes better in these duos. And personally, like I rather have a better blush. That's just me. So hopefully that comparison, see, that's the satin, smooth that out, and then that is the Dioramour. So hopefully that is helpful. And that is it. That is my little review of these new Dior Color and Glow duos. Comment down below and let me know what you think of these. Are they a pass or are you intrigued? And if you are, which color are you thinking of getting? Or maybe you're thinking of getting the contour option. I would love to hear all of your thoughts. If you like this video or if you found it helpful, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.